Hi there, everyone. This is Sharifa Tharp with ST Law Office, and I am here live to take your immigration questions. So go ahead and drop your questions in the comments, and I will happily answer your questions. Now, I would like to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. I am U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharp, and I focus my practice on helping people to get status and their green cards in the United States. So go ahead and feel free to join me on the live and put your questions in the comments. I usually come with a topic that I'm going to talk about, and today I'm going to be talking about how to apply for the green card if you're being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, parent, or even a citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. So, I'm basically going to go through the process, who qualifies, and the benefits of pursuing the green card if you qualify for it, the benefits of doing it this way. However, keep in mind that I'm here to answer your immigration questions and I am prioritizing your questions. So the minute I see your questions coming in, I'm going to stop talking about the topic to be able to prioritize your questions and answer those questions. So don't feel self-conscious about typing your questions in while I am talking, and your questions don't have to be related to the topic I'm talking about. So if you are in the United States or you have lived with your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, a parent, so if it's a parent, then and you're under 25, or you are here and you have a United States citizen, son or daughter who's 21 and over, and they are mistreating you, then you could possibly have a path to obtain your green card while staying in the United States. Now, what counts as mistreatment? That's the first question here. And mistreatment is if you are being mistreated, so if somebody is verbally abusing you, emotionally, financially, these are also qualifying factors in this type of green card. It does not have to just be physical violence. Hi, Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar. That's a cute name. So hi, I've been in the US for 1 year. I had to get an extension because my borders are closed. Okay, so that's part one. So I'm going to wait for part two of your question. Um, so while I'm waiting for Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar to complete the question, I'm going to continue talking about the topic, but feel comfortable as well to add your questions. So Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar, I just received the question. I am with my fiance, but I think that we have married. Do you recommend I get married, or we have not gotten married? Do you recommend we get married or wait until I go home and come back? So now, first of all, the information I'm going to give you is general information because usually to give you specific advice, I have to talk to you about various detailed facts. But the first question I have for you, Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar, is your fiance a U.S. citizen? That can help me to be able to give you useful information. So if your fiance is a U.S. citizen and you decide, okay, circumstances have changed, you've been stuck in the U.S., why not just get married and stay? Great, so yes, they are. So if you do get married to your U.S. citizen fiance and they become your spouse, then, and obviously you came into the country, you filed for an extension, And even if you overstay, so even if you overstay the time that you're allowed to be here, and as long as you don't have other disqualifying factors like a criminal record, then you usually spouses of U.S. citizens can stay in the United States, apply for the green card, and not even if they overstayed, as long as they came into the country with a visa or some sort of permission, which it sounds like that applies to you in this case. So it would, if you do qualify based on the general information that I gave you, you would be well within your, your right to stay here and apply for the green card, even if you fell out of status. Now, what would happen is you would apply for the green card, the work permit while you're going through the adjustment of status, and that would kind of give you some comfort having the work permit while you wait for the green card process. What I would suggest, Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar, is you give me a call and let's talk about it in detail so we make sure that you get it right and that you are fully aware of what the process will entail. So, Lily, hello there. Love your work, and I'm so glad. That is the reason that I do this for to provide helpful information. So for the DACA, will people who came here at age 16, will they be able to apply and qualify under the new laws? So yes, so under the American Dream Act, it has passed the House, but it has to go um, through Senate and get approved there. You, as coming here at the age of 16, you would qualify because right now, as the law is proposed, it's for anybody who is, I believe, 18 and under, 19 or under. So under 19. So anyone who came here under the age of 19 would qualify, and that would be on or before January 1st, 2021. So that, generally speaking, that if you came here at age 16 on or before January 1st, 2021, you would fall within that category. And I'm keeping an eye out and praying and hoping that it does pass because it would definitely provide relief for a huge chunk of people in the United States. So Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar. Okay, great. I want to make sure I do everything correctly. Thanks. Yes, for sure. Now, Melanin and Peaches Nail Bar, give me a call at 561-405-4889. Or you can check out my videos to get the number if you missed it. Also, you can go to the link in my bio where you can fill out a contact form or get the phone number there. So Tanish Clark, thanks for sharing the live. Tug 1981, when will USCIS ask for your affidavit of support? So usually the affidavit of support is required along with the other forms. However, if you didn't submit it, you may get an RFE asking for the affidavit of support, or you may, if you don't get an RFE and you make it to the interview, then you would definitely want to make sure that you have the affidavit of support on the spot at that interview, because the officer will not approve the application without the affidavit of support. Based on my experience, the affidavit of support has always been required before, and if not, it could lead to a delay in your application. So you want to make sure that they have the affidavit of support at least before the interview, because that helps to push the process along. Usually when there's anything missing at the final interview, it can cause a huge delay in the process. Right now, I'm seeing cases where when all the evidence isn't included in the initial application, they make it to the interview, and then afterwards, the approval of the green card gets delayed for months later or even a year later because the officer is still reviewing. And remember, the caseload of that one officer is enormous. So it will take the officer a ton of time to get back to your case. So you want to make sure you get everything in on time and before the interview, if possible. You're welcome, Lily. So keep your questions coming. These are such good questions already, and so I'm looking forward to getting the rest of your questions. So I have a topic. I usually come with a topic as well. So Tanish Clark, my son came here when he was 10. What would he qualify for? So it depends on the conditions under which he came. But if he came here when he was 10 years old, then there is a possibility that he could qualify for DACA. And you can apply for DACA upon reaching the age of 15, but I would not be able to confirm that unless I actually speak with you and your son and verify all the qualifying information. No, he would have to be, have to have arrived after a certain time. And so, it all depends here. So what you can do is give me a call to schedule a consultation, and then we can get in depth with his situation and determine whether he qualifies for DACA or any other form of relief. Now, Tanish Clark, what is your son? But what is your status? Is your status U.S.? So he is here from 2018. Okay. So in this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and read out the requirements for you, so you can. Okay, so Lily Ordonez, can that, let's see, I saw the question before. If you're applying for the pardon, waiting to hear back from the embassy in country of origin, can that person apply for a work permit? So if you're talking about unlawful presence waiver, unfortunately, no, there is no work permit available just based on waiting for the I-601A or the unlawful presence waiver to complete processing, unfortunately. So yes, so that will be, that's the most frustrating part about this, is that there is no relief while you wait for the waiver to be approved, and while you are waiting for the interview to become available. So, so how do I know if we need an affidavit of support? Can my husband make enough that they did not ask? You're welcome, Lily. So, in this case, usually in family-based immigration, they will need the affidavit of support, and no, that is where the officer is going to see how much they make and if they make enough to support you. And so, yes, so in this case, you have to be prepared to get that affidavit of support ready, because unless you fall within a type of category that is exempt from the affidavit of support, then you need to be prepared to present it. Now, married couples usually are not exempt from providing an affidavit of support. Married couples in marriage-based green cards. So, Lily, I do work with people outside of the state. I work with my clients all over the country and the world. So if you would like to give me a call, go ahead and schedule a consultation. You will talk to the scheduling coordinator, who will get you on my schedule. So my husband filed for me in taxes. I got a letter from January that they told him that I am approved. So Marcia, I remember this question came up last night. So So he filed for you in his taxes, and then you got a letter from January. So I think I am going to try to put this together, and it seems like what you're saying here is that your husband does file with you on his taxes, and then you got a letter, I think, from the USCIS saying that they approved you. Um, so now having you on the taxes is not going to necessarily show that he makes enough. What's important is the age. Is the age that I'm sorry, the income is the income that he's making, and whether for the household size that can support the family. So they have, and the affidavit of support can be complex. So it is something that you must make sure that you do correctly, or it could lead to a denial or a delay in your application. So what you can do is give me a call and schedule a consultation, and then we can get more into the nitty-gritty of the taxes and the forms. But what I can tell you is that having you alone on his taxes, wait, is it taxes? Or okay, so your husband filed for you in Texas, and you got a letter that they approved. So it depends. The way that the application process is going to work depends um, on the status of your husband, your status. So is your husband a U.S. citizen, Marcia? That's the first thing that's going to tell me how your process may go. Sexy Tommy One, hi, thanks for tuning in so early in the day as well. Unfortunately, nothing new. So Tanish Clark, yes, I do DACA. You can give me a call, and we can go ahead and talk through it and work through it. So Tanish Clark with DACA, all right? So remember, I was telling you that you have to be in the country before a certain time. So under the guidelines of DACA, the specific date is that it's on, so they have to be physically present in the US on June 15, 2012. And they have to have been in the United States since June 15, 2007, continuously residing in the US. So, because he came in 2018, then that may not qualify him for the DACA. So, yes. However, there are, laws pending in Congress that may cover your son, and so we'll have to see. And as I always say, now what we're talking about is DACA, Tanishkar, but you don't know what other forms of relief are out there for your son, just based on what he's going through, what his circumstances are. So what I highly recommend you do is schedule a consultation, and let's go through all of your circumstances, your status, your son's status, any qualifying relative status, and then I can advise more specifically to you, because the information I'm giving you is general information. So let's see. So keep the questions coming. These are all very good questions. So I would like to see more of your questions coming in. So I was talking about how to apply for the green card in the United States through if you are experiencing mistreatment by your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, um, spouse, parent, or son or daughter who's 21 and up. Tug 1981, can my citizen husband petition for my mother who is in Jamaica? So unfortunately not. So citizens cannot file for their in-laws. What would have to happen is once you become a U.S. citizen, then you can file for your mother in Jamaica. So continue to keep your questions coming. I am talking about how to apply for the green card if you're being mistreated by certain relatives, and those relatives would be your US citizen or green card holder spouse. If you're under 25, your US citizen or your green card holder parent, or your citizen son or daughter 21 and up. And mistreatment does not have to be physical violence. It does not have to involve the police or hospital records showing injuries. It could include other things like mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. So it's not the basis of what I'm telling you here is it is not just based on physical violence, where that's a common misconception. Now, if this is something that you can relate to, if you're being mistreated in any way, you should first consult an attorney to see if you qualify for this. And if you do qualify, you'd be able to apply on your own without your spouse knowing, or your parent knowing, or your citizen son or daughter knowing. It's completely confidential. And I help my clients to gather the sufficient evidence that's necessary to file the application and to, go through the application process successfully. Now, one benefit is that you get to stay in the United States and apply for this form of relief. And so you don't have to return to your home country to finish the green card process. And you do get a work permit around 6 to 8 months after it is after you file your petition. So it is a way to get relief, especially when you're in a terrible situation like that, where you're being mistreated by a relative, and you feel like you don't have any way out. There is a way, and there's a way to gain control of your status. So keep those questions coming. I don't see any more questions here. And that's what I came to talk about, was applying for the green card based on mistreatment. Now, another thing to know is that you can stay in the United States, apply for this type of relief, even if you came into the country without your papers. In some cases, there are ways to overcome it. And also, if you overstayed your visa, you can still be able to stay and apply for the green card and get your work permit. So it is very flexible once you qualify to apply for this form of relief. So I don't see any more questions, and with that, I am going to close out, but I am going to be back. I am trying to come on here in between when I take a break, and also when I am closing out. So I am going to work on getting back here. So Tug 1981, is there a way to fire your immigration lawyer? So, yes, so if your attorney is not representing you in a way that's satisfactory to you, you can always, it is always your decision, and you can always terminate your current representation. So that is definitely up to you, and you're not powerless to do that. You, of course, have to notify the immigration service that you no longer have that attorney on your case, to make sure that they don't send correspondence to the attorney, and they understand that you don't have that attorney anymore. But it is always a decision that you can make to terminate your relationship if you're not satisfied with the way that they're working on your matter. So, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back later. If you're not following me, go ahead and follow me, and then you'll see when I go live again. You can hop on, ask your questions. So, I will see you later. Have a good one, guys.